This is Topline Weekly, and I'm your host, Riyaan Shah. The United States has just bombed Iran's nuclear facilities in what could become the most dangerous escalation in the Middle East in years. And now the global oil market is at risk. In the early hours of June 23rd, US B-2 stealth bombers struck multiple Iranian nuclear sites, including the heavily fortified Fordo facility. These sites were suspected of playing a key role in Iran's nuclear program. The airstrikes were part of a US mission called the Operation Midnight Hammer. The US claims that the strikes were necessary to prevent Iran from moving closer to developing nuclear weapons. While Iran insists its nuclear program is for peaceful energy, American and Israeli officials have long feared that Iran is secretly working towards building a bomb. In response to the bombing, Iran's parliament voted to close off the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow stretch of water off Iran's southern coast. It was incredibly important because about one-fifth of global oil shipments pass through it every single day. If the Strait of Hormuz closes, oil can't move freely through the Persian Gulf to the rest of the world. That means gas prices could spike, shipping could slow down, and countries that rely on Middle Eastern oil like India, Japan, and much of Europe could face major shortages and inflation. Markets are already reacting as Brent crude oil prices jumped by more than 20% overnight. That's the highest it has been in over a year. Shipping companies are already rerouting and airlines are bracing for fuel cost increases. Meanwhile, Iran launched retaliatory missile strikes at US military bases in Iraq and Qatar, most which were intercepted, but the message was clear. Iran sees this as an act of war. President Trump, who authorized the strikes, dismissed the Iranian response as very weak, but also warned that the US is ready to take further action if provoked. So why did this all happen now? It's been building up for months, and the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict has already raised tensions. The US has provided support to Israel, but with this strike, America has now entered the conflict directly. That's a big deal, and it raises questions. Will Iran attack US forces again? Will the strait actually be shut down? And will other countries like China and Russia get involved? The United Nations has already called for an emergency session, but so far the global response is split. The EU is urging restraint, while China and Russia are accusing the US of violating international law. Under the UN Charter, a country can use force if it's defending itself. The US says that it acted to prevent a future threat from Iran, but critics argue that this bombing could have been seen as a preemptive attack and not self-defense. That could make the legality of the strike questionable under international law. And that's your update today for Topline Weekly. I'm Riyaan Shah, and thank you for tuning in.